information that's personalized to what you're interested in. You're obviously seeing the mobility, both with platform and place. So what that means is for civic engagement, for literacy activities, we need to not just provide things to people at centers, but we also need to provide it to you while you're on the go. There's a really interesting new service that the federal government did with some others called Text for Baby. So it's T-E-X-T and the number 4 baby. And it's doing text messaging for pregnant moms and I guess dads could subscribe to. And then doing tips on health around pregnancy and early years, your first years of children. And so that's a great example. We have to deliver services as people go around. I want people to be able to text city government and register their opinion or their suggestion for something. I know they may not do that at home. Or I want to also connect people so that I can listen in on the web programming class that's going on at my neighborhood community technology center, so I can still take advantage of that. And then there's obviously this issue of rapid evolution. So do you tweet, Facebook, blog, Yammer, Boxbee, Dropbox, Flash Volunteer? So the tools are kind of interesting and bewildering. How many of you are overwhelmed by it? So what it means is we have to have that discussion and also work with the developers of these products to go out and talk to the folks who have those skills to put these things together, to give feedback, to pick what we're going to do and do it well, but also then to adapt. And then there's lots of video. So more and more as we're seeing that obviously is part of the delivery system, part of inclusion, part of communication. I mean, it's very interesting because it's much more oral. It's something you can see, something you can hear. So somebody who isn't as comfortable texting could communicate that way. It's a very interesting move. Interesting little story. Yamani, who is Ethiopian, would always call his daughter to talk to them. And they kept insisting, text me, text me, text me. So he's finally started doing that. But he told me that week, he said, you know what? I'm actually more succinct. It's changed the way I'm starting to converse with people. Because I'm doing more direct messages to them. And it's not so bad. But it's a really interesting thing that we need to talk about how do we use culture and how does our culture change through these tools. And then trusted ambassadors. And I think both the sense of community is still important to people. As we work on a digital inclusion strategy, we work with important leaders in the communities, particularly reaching out to some of the immigrant and refugee communities. Those folks are ones that are known in the community, they're trusted. And so digital inclusion adoption happens on the front lines with those folks, you folks, and so we need to acknowledge that and support them for that work. Okay. And then finally, let's flip forward here. So this is the Somali texting I just wanted to mention. A lot of interesting work going on with 3D imaging and programming. There's a lot to be done for theirs in online environments, starting to happen more and more. Use of that. We had some kids that did a kind of a walkthrough story about the community that they created in 3D imaging. Okay, next one. So these are just a few, second to last slide here, just a few things as we think about digital strategies about what should be included. So first of all, ensuring that you're assessing and responding to community need. Ask people what they need, design your adoption programs around that. Secondly, reinvest technology revenue. And I think of it about as like the Banking Reinvestment Act. So part of our cable television dollars come back to pay for cable free broadband service for nonprofits. But there's other models in California where they're taking revenue from state-owned cell towers. You've got some here, but how do we encourage a climate that reinvests technology revenue into technology adoption? Every day our labs are teaching people how to buy more products. So build and use policy. I mentioned things like defining digital inclusion in law, gather data and map the resources. It's pretty straightforward. I can't emphasize enough kind of looking at this combination of human, institutional, and capital assets. So, we give credit in our grant program, for instance, for volunteer time. I mean that is hugely valuable. I think last month there was, about $20,000 worth of time donated in our Parks and Rec community centers to helping people learn. So mixing those together. IT equity assessment, I talked about that tool. Open learning and tools. So one important thing that you guys can do, and work with foundations and so on, is to collect what's the curriculum, what tools are being used, what's the approaches. Bring that together into one spot, one portal. We're having discussions with the Department of Commerce nationally right now about a national portal that collects that information and aggregates that information. So you guys are the important collectors and knowers of what that is around here. And finally, we evaluate, reassess, and keep adapting. So let's go to the last slide here. So this is BarbieCam. So how many of you are familiar with BarbieCam? Okay, so Barbie now is coming out with